Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And hey, we got another hot one for you like we do every time. But before we get into all of that, you know what time it is. Zoe's got a shout out.
Man, I ain't got no shout out, man. I ain't got nothing for you, man. But just thank y'all for listening. Let's get into it, straight to it.
Hey, listen, we're going to be talking about willful ignorance. Hopefully that ain't you. So strap in. Let the kings talk about it. All right, good people. Hey, welcome back to another edition of Kingly Conversations, man. And you know, as I am every single week for 194 of them, I'm Alan.
The elephant. Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy Twine, a.k.a. Twine. Ask me about my podcast, man. You know what time it is. Let's go.
It's your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill.
Your friend, your mentor, the check writer, nail biter.
Hey, before we get started, I just want to say, if y'all watch the video, I encourage y'all to watch the videos that we do put out there on all the platforms that we do use. I just watched this man look at envelope. I ain't seen that in so long, bro. Don't you do it again. Don't you do it again, bro. This is 2025, man. Put your tongue away, bro. That's all I got to say.
No, that's what's wrong with y'all. That's what's wrong with half these kids. They don't know how to mail a letter. They don't know how to write a check.
Bro.
Don't know how to write a cursive.
I ain't going to lie, bro. It's been a long time since I seen that, man. Get out of here, bro.
Hey, I still send checks. I don't send checks because I have to. Sometimes I'm just like, I want to just get here 3 days from now, so I'm going to send this check.
Don't they got like little sis that you can use that you can just do that without putting your tongue on the paper, man?
I'm putting my tongue on it.
Oh, brother. Anyway, what's today's topic, bro? Sorry, listeners.
Hey,
I got distracted.
I'm on mute because I got to do something for that mailman come.
Boo. All right.
So we're going to talk about willful ignorance.
Willful ignorance. What about it?
So
what is it? What are we doing?
To me, and it's again, I think it's because of just who I am. Willful ignorance is not knowing for the sake of not knowing. And I would say not knowing and you don't care that you don't know. Right? Because I've just never been okay. And maybe that's because, you know, my dad is a teacher. My maternal grandmother was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always, and even growing up, and I don't even know how much we didn't have Encyclopedia Britannica because that cost too much, but we
the one with the color pictures.
we had one of the other encyclopedias that you could get. And I'm sure they paid a lot for it. And so the way that I was brought up by my parents was that if I asked them a question, their immediate response was, go look it up.
Mm-hmm. Because
at the time, and today is even easier, but at the time, easier and harder, if we're being honest. So I would go look it up in the encyclopedia, if it was something that you could find in the encyclopedia, mm-hmm. right? And we had the full volume. We had A through Z, right? So
I think, bro, everybody had one of those in their house, bro.
Oh, well, in that case, it makes less sense for people. I don't know that everybody had them. I think if you were middle class,
you're not the only one.
If you were middle class, you probably did.
Middle class guy.
Middle class at the time probably would have been household income, above $30,000 a year, household income, because hey man, money was different. Money was different in the late 70s, early 80s. Money was way different, man.
Yeah.
I remember the first car, the car that, and this was me as a child, just not knowing. And here's the thing, when I say when the word ignorance is just a state of not knowing, because we kind of use the word ignorant or ignorance with a negative connotation.
That's true.
But words are just words. Words, nothing has any meaning except for the meaning we give it. And so we're putting a negative connotation on the word ignorance. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying you don't know a thing. But anyway, so the car that my dad bought, it was like a 88 Plymouth Sundance.
That sounds like a big body joint. You know,
Nah, 2-door stick shift manual windows.
Cool. Ooh.
No, it was not nice. You can look that up. It was the car was $8,500.
Oh wow.
Right. Brand new. Not used or nothing. Yeah. New. Yeah, so that's why I say, so when you look at the fact that household income might have been $30,000, well, the car was only $8,000.
Stuff was lower.
Right. Now the car he wanted was like 12, but he couldn't afford the 12.
Got it.
So there weren't like nobody. I mean, unless you was like rich, you weren't out there buying a $30,000 car in the '80s. That was beyond. You were definitely earning significant income if you had a Cadillac or a Mercedes or something back then. You were upper echelon for sure. But in any event, I said that to say that prior to that incident, I was ignorant to what stuff actually costs. Because of the parents I had, I was kind of insulated to understanding what stuff costs because they didn't have discussions about money in front of me. They may have had discussions about money, but they didn't have discussions about money in front of me. So I so I thought cars, like full-size cars, were the same price as Matchbox cars. Now that's useful. So that's why I say I'm not saying ignorance is a bad thing, but we shouldn't I don't believe we should want to stay in ignorance if we have the opportunity to get out of that, right? So I use that story to say, you can just be ignorance is just not knowing. It's the willful ignorance is where I start to have a problem with people.
So I have a question. This might be off, but willful ignorance, can that still come from somebody who's so-called did research and the facts and stuff that they looked at or took in is incorrect?
I think it could, but when we say facts are incorrect, not the facts. Let's okay, you got me. I was just gonna be like facts.
The
be
information
outdated.
that they got wasn't accurate.
Yeah. I don't think that person would still be willfully ignorant. They're at least looking for the information. They're trying to learn.
They put forth the effort. Try to understand.
Yeah, they're putting forth the effort. So at that once you're putting forth an effort, but when I say willful ignorance, it's just like I don't know, don't want to know. I'm talking about stuff that might actually be important, like
brushing your teeth every morning.
Yeah, you should probably know why they say you should brush your teeth. A lot of people don't even look that up. They just like, all right, yeah, brush your teeth. I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking you probably should brush your teeth after each time that you eat. But
I just threw that out there, just something random.
But most people are not going to abuse their teeth to that level, so they brush in the morning and brush at night if they brush at all. There's some people out there that's just saying they brushing and your teeth say otherwise.
So it says allow the lack of accountability.
What's the problem, Calvin?
That's what I was wondering. I was looking at that one.
Allow the lack of accountability.
Right. I mean, I think it could. Who put that down? Let me look at these notes
here. Or Calvin did.
I didn't do that.
Okay, so I can speak to that though. I think when you can say you don't know, for a lot of people, they don't feel like they need to be accountable to information they didn't know. And so some people are willfully ignorant on purpose. Like, I don't even want to know how that works because then I'm not accountable. The problem is you are
That's
accountable.
That's not willful ignorance to me though.
What is it?
Like if you know.
No. You don't know. And you intentionally don't know so that you don't have to be accountable.
Oh, okay. That's willful.
Like somebody's like, well, here's some information, and you just like, I reject this information because then I'd have to be accountable because I know. Because I know somebody
that told me they do that. Yeah, no joke. They say I didn't read this book because I didn't want to be accountable to it once I read it. I didn't want to know the information.
Yeah.
Because once I know, then I'm accountable for it.
Hey. Shout out to Gucci.
But that applies to a lot of different things. So they say ignorance is bliss.
Yep. But you know what? I remember a long time ago. And
we're back.
Somebody I was working at Canon.
Oh Lord.
And I'm only so I think in some respects ignorance is bliss. I didn't used to believe it till this person said this to me, because I'm the kind of person that when somebody says something, instead of immediately rejecting the premise, I at least consider the premise before I reject it. And so they had said that, essentially that ignorance bores bliss. Those weren't the exact words they used. And because of who said it, I was like, well, let me think about this first. Because I know this person has at least read some stuff. They listened to some stuff. They've heard some Jim Rohn. So why would they say this? And I was like, for you, it might be bliss. It doesn't mean your life will not be harder because of it. You just won't know that the ignorance of a situation is why your life is harder, because you don't know. So you're not accountable, like you said, you're not accountable to the information. The information was there, but you ain't accountable to it. So to you just going along, yeet-dee-dee. Not and getting bust in your face the whole time.
Yeah.
And you just like, well, I guess this is what life is. No, because you ain't read the book. You didn't attend the class.
No, that's a choice. That's people's choice.
It is. And some people desire to make that choice, because the problem with knowing better is that accountability piece, because I mean, it'd be crazy to know a lot about the stock market, and you're just like, yeah, but I don't do nothing with any of that information, so I'm eyes po.
So there's a show that I watch. It's called The Daily Show, and they have just a plug I was not intending to give out, but I did. So with that being said, they would do interviews at rallies and things of that nature, and they would question the people that are out there participating.
Yeah.
And you just watch them answer questions and completely get obliterated because of their way of thinking, their willful ignorance. And then by the end of the conversation, they just stop talking or walk away because they start realizing, maybe this is dumb, or maybe this is like, it's not true, or whatever the case is. It goes completely against what they believe. So then, okay, now I got to walk away because you're making me eat my words, basically. So shout out to that.
It's a few groups out there doing that kind of thing where they just kind of, I don't want to, we don't know how many interviews they had to do to get the footage.
Yeah, true.
But in any especially in places like rallies, you can always find people that really don't know why they're there. They know why they're there, but they're not there for the reasons they think they're there. They didn't come up with all sorts of other reasons that make sense in their mind, but don't actually make any sense as to why they're there. You'd be like, well, what? How do you feel about? It reminds me of when people used to say, ask the question how they felt about the Affordable Care Act, and then right behind it, ask them how they felt about Obamacare, and you would get two totally different answers. And it's just like, oh, so you ignorant to this thing. I see you ignorant too.
There was one clip that it reminded me of it, that they were asked a question about one candidate or president or whatever the case is. It was in politics. So they asked about a person, but they said that this person did XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
And then they was like, yeah, that's just crazy. That person don't know what they're doing, XYZ. And then the interview would be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say this candidate. I meant to say that candidate. And they did XYZ. And the answer completely changes. Like, it's okay. It's okay if I do it, but it's, you know what I'm saying? Or it's okay if you do it, but wrong if I do it type mentality. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like there's like, so for one person is okay, but just because of the way you think and your group thinking or your willful ignorance, now you have a different perspective on the same thing. For example, one person, for example, what did he do? Did not get drafted or something because he had bone spurs. So the person asked, okay, I'll say President A had bone spurs and didn't go to the military or join the military because of that. And then it was like, oh no, that's just wrong. He's just not American and XYZ. And then it was, oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't President A, it was President B who did it. And then it was like, oh, my brother-in-law, he has it, so I understand. Like, what are we doing?
But that's people's choice to reject that information, right? Because it might challenge their beliefs. Just like, so we see it all the time, though. I just think that's an extreme example of it. And the reason I say that is, because I know more than one person currently that believes that the earth is flat.
Oh, bro, here we go with that.
It's flat. It's flat.
It is flat. If you never get off the ground, it does. And my thing is, the truth of the matter is, if you're not in architecture, if you're not in aerospace, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because you're not involved in an industry or a field where it matters whether or not the earth is flat or round. But if you were building bridges, well, then if you're an you might need to know that. Or if you were designing a spacecraft, you might need to know that. But if you're not involved in fields where the shape of the earth matters, if you're in meteorology, it matters. If you're in somebody that predicts weather systems annually, it matters, because all of these different things that happen across the globe will then matter. But I've offered to say, okay, because of where we live, it's real easy to test this. Super easy to test it. All you got to do is take a trip. Cost you $22 to test it. You take a trip from the south side to the eastern shore. Stop at the scenic overlook on the eastern shore. Wait till nightfall. See if you can see the lights in Norfolk. Easy.
Easy.
Dumb easy. Nobody has taken me up on that. But that's the choice. Because,
go where?
Huh?
Go where? You said go where?
Eastern Shore. Just take a trip right across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. There's a scenic overlook right there across, like near the rest stop that's over there. There's a scenic overlook. And from that scenic overlook, if you had some binoculars during, well, you can.
Well, a telescope. I need something strong.
Yeah, you need. Well, not necessarily, because the problem is you're not going and see if you can see the bottom of the buildings. What I've always told people is see if you can see the pier. The pier that's in Norfolk, because you're gonna be looking dead at that pier. See if you can see the pier. If you can see the pier, Earth is flat. If you can't see that pier, because the pier is, I think it's 12 feet off the water.
I'm gonna go look.
But the math says that it's 1 inch per mile, and you would be 26 miles away.
I'm going to go look.
So you should not be able to see the bottom of the pier. You shouldn't even be able to see the beach. Now you might be able to see the tops of buildings, but you shouldn't be able to see the beach. Because if the earth was flat, and it's a flat piece of, and the water is flat. Now you can say, "Oh, waves." Okay, but you ain't gonna be see that beach at all. You might see like the top of Dominion Tower. You might see like the tops of buildings, but you ain't seeing the bottom of not near building.
Not near one of them.
But people can reject, so they intentionally were like, "I'm not even gonna go do that," because matter of fact, there was a YouTuber, a flat Earth YouTuber, that went to Antarctica to disprove the 24-hour sun, because the 24-hour sun does not work on a flat Earth.
The 24-hour sun.
24-hour sun, because if you go far enough south or far enough north at certain times of the year, the sun does not set at all. Like, at all. It just stays up. It just rotates around the sky. And so he did a video. And then people started disproving his own theory that the earth was flat, so that they could remain ignorant to what is actually going on. And that's all. My thing is, if you have a belief, you should be able to prove that it's true with repeatable experiments. But good experiments. But we be having dumb experiments, like the tennis ball doesn't drop in the same place what? Because the people that believe the earth is flat also believe that we're traveling up, and that's why we have gravity, because we're traveling upwards, and it's because we're traveling up that.
Hey, yo, man, come on.
It pushes us down, to the earth.
Let's move on.
Traveling up, down, up. So all I would say is, okay, well, go prove that right. That should be easy to do.
So people with the willful ignorance, why do you...
Is your head hurting? Is your head hurting?
My mind's blown. So...
Hey, man.
People in the stage of, being willful of the ignorance is a few factors that may attribute to that. One being the fear of change. Also, pride is another thing. Maybe discomfort or getting out of their comfort zone, or not willing to get out their comfort zone. So for those three things, I added those notes because I was trying to figure out why somebody would want to stay in that stage of ignorance. So, I mean, I can't answer that question, and y'all probably can't answer that question either.
I don't know why.
That crossed my mind.
I don't know why they would. And my thing is, I remember it said a long time ago that, minds are like parachutes, and that they have to be open in order to work. And I think that a lot of folks are just intentionally closed-minded, but it also just depends on what you're around. Like, right? I often ask myself this question: like, how many times does something have to be said that's a lie before it becomes the truth to you? Mm. Like, it's been a lie since the first time it was said, but because go back to the flat earth example, right? Oh, I know, Calvin, I know.
Okay,
but
come on.
People will say, well, people used to believe the earth was flat. Well, that's not actually true. It's never been true for the problem I think that we have is at certain points in history, you had three different classes, right? You had the aristocracy. You had people that weren't aristocracy but could afford education. And then you just had everybody else who were essentially uneducated altogether. And again, if you're not building anything, if you're not leaving the ground, it doesn't really matter if the earth, it doesn't matter. But they also will say that, and I'm like, no, my ancestors never, as soon as math was created, we didn't believe that the earth was flat. As soon as there was a thing called math, because it was easy to test. You know how they tested it? They put a stick in the ground in one spot, they put a stick in the ground in another spot, and they observed the shadows, and the shadows were different. That was how they determined the circumference of the earth. They put a stick in the ground over here, put a stick in the ground over there. They measured the shadows, and they said, well, because of the difference in these shadows, here is the circumference of the earth. And they were only off by 5%. And this was done like
Sticks in the ground.
Sticks in the ground. I'm going to tell you when it was done. Because I think people think that it was like that it wasn't a very long time ago, because we have this issue where we think people in history were dumb. And I'm like, no. I mean, they created mathematics and geometry and everything else long before anybody was, long before y'all was here. So anyway,
Hey, bro.
Yep.
What's up with you in this flat Earth, man?
Listen, it's one thing. It's one thing I don't like. It's one thing I don't like. Let me tell you one thing. One thing I don't like, and two things I don't like. Ignorance. so
This dude is going on.
Look. Because this one is so easy. It's so easy to me. So over 2,000 years ago, man. Over 2,000 years ago, Eratosthenes measured the Earth and determined that it was almost 25,000 miles around at the equator. 2,000 years ago. And we talking about, people used to think the Earth was flat. No, they didn't. Not if they measured it 2,000 years ago. Anyway, let me put a check in this box right here. Allows the lack of accountability and sake for not. Let me just start checking this stuff
off. Fear of change,
pride,
discomfort. We already touched on cognitive biases when you only rely on sources that agree with your same thinking. So right. we kind of touched bases on that already, correct?
I mean, basically, the problem is everybody has biases in their mind. I do, you do, Calvin does. It's the inability to see past your own bias, to see if what you believe is actually accurate or not. And here's the thing: everybody can live however the heck they want to live. Just understand you get the repercussions of however that life, whatever that life is, because your life is the sum total of what you believe and how you act upon those beliefs. So, fine.
Do you like the results?
And look, some people might really like the results. It's a whole lot of dumb people out there making a lot of money though.
That is true. That's the realest thing you ever didn't write.
Right, it is. They don't know. They know their industry and they don't really know much else. And some people are okay with that. I just wasn't. I wanted to have a well-rounded, what I considered to be a well-rounded life. And I've always said I'm okay making less money if I feel like I'm a better person.
I'm going to ask a redundant question, but so with being ignorant, that blocks people from personal growth because it doesn't allow them the space for growth. So that ties back into what you said, Alan, in regards of being open, like that parachute.
Yep.
To learn new things, to get yourself outside of that box that you put yourself in. So with that being said, you want to cue some music up, my guy?
Yeah, I don't, for the most part, I don't think people will grow unless they have a reason to, honestly. They got to have a reason to
live, to survive. Like, what are we doing?
Look, we don't have to survive today. Survival today is easy. I know sometimes it don't seem like it, but it's easier today than it was 2,000 years ago.
Touche.
I mean, because we got 8 billion people on the planet. So clearly survival today is easy. There's a whole lot less people dying, a whole lot more people making it to adulthood today than it used to be. Because I mean, they talk about life expectancy, and this is another example of people not looking stuff up. The only reason life expectancy used to be low was because infant mortality was so high, and so it skews the numbers down. But if you made it to adulthood, you lived 70, 80 years, even back in the day. The problem was getting to adulthood because your immune system wasn't all the way there. We had stuff like polio, all kinds of other crap going on. So the problem was getting to adulthood. But once you got to adulthood, you lived typically well past 60. Even George Washington was in his 70s, I think, when he passed. So, the problem was everybody had 12 kids and only 4 of them made it to 18. Like infant mortality was crazy. But now we got technology. So anyway, just don't be ignorant out here, bruh. That's all I'm saying. Learn at least one or two things. I mean, try to learn one thing a month. I don't know. Do something. Just do something.
Do something.
Joe, Calvin. Zoe, Calvin, Zoe.
I don't got nothing. Read a book.
I got nothing but dogs barking in the background.
Oh, there it is. Cue the dogs. 67. George Washington was 67. And he ain't even had no teeth and he was 67.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's facts. He ain't had no teeth, bro. Hey, so we'll see y'all next week.
I ain't got no closing remarks, man. I'm done. But thank y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all. And willful ignorance, man. Just open mindset, learn something new.
You can't mute yourself and keep talking, bro. You muted yourself and you kept talking. That don't even make sense.
Talking about the small one?
Yeah, because you muted yourself while you was in mid sentence.
It's like Harlem Nights, bro. It's like your and then you got
all right, we'll see y'all next week.
All right, man. Yeah.
Recording stopped.